just going to do some random road travel conversation. I'm back in my soul space. I am mentally preparing for an intuitive, empathetic listening session, and I'm running some of the pertinent questions through my own soul. I am not trained in psychology. I'm not trained in any trauma recovery modalities. I have no personal experience with any therapy, whether that is going to a therapist or teaching therapy. I operate strictly on being attuned or tuned into my soul and into my feeling space. And I interpret things and express things through my soul, what I intuit from my soul. And I'm contemplating our ego response. Our ego, and it is not meant to be vilified. It is not meant to be diminished through any methods. It's not meant to be bypassed. It is meant to be understood. Your ego is the mechanism that will function to ensure your survival. Ego is going to step forward in any situation when your soul feels out of control, when your little inner child feels overwhelmed, feels out of control, feels incapable of responding to situations because some event during the growing up years undermined your child psyche, undermined its sense of capability, ability, security. And so it, if I can use the word, became retarded. Not in a derogatory manner, but simply retarded, underdeveloped, and emotionally stunted to keep pace with the challenges of life, right? Either, your parents or guardians or teachers, someone in authority undermined your self-confidence, made you feel unable and incapable of solving whatever the present problem was. And so now we have this imbalance where the emotional side of you is, like I said, retarded, and the logical, the ego side, the defensive side had to take over and make up for that emotional deficit. I look like a bandit with that shadow over my eyes. So the ego had to compensate for what was lacking in the emotional department. So what we want to do is we don't want to get rid of ego, but we want to strike a balance between the emotional soul and the mental ego, so that ego does not have to be on the defender, in everyday situations where you're always on high alert, always suspicious of your surroundings, trying to control any potential situationship that you may not emotionally be equipped to handle. So your ego is going to show up for that. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to ensure your survival. So we need to work with these stunted memories, with these stunted feelings of what made you feel out of control in your growing up years, what made you feel diminished, what made you feel disempowered. We have to identify those memories and walk through those events now with your grown-up rational mind and explain the event so that an understanding, a conscious understanding can be gained, and you can integrate the memory, you can integrate that situation through understanding, right? It's only the things that we do not understand that hold power over us, that make us afraid. So when we can introduce understanding in a childhood situation that we as children, we didn't have the capability to understand because our rational minds are not developed until we're 25, I think. So basically we have to bring understanding to our inner child now, to the situation, so that we can integrate it without the feelings of shame and disempowerment, right? We can bring a sense of control to the memories. And once we do that, the retardation is going to be dissolved. It's going to be built up. You're going to bring balance through understanding, and your ego is no longer not going to have to step in and try to control a disempowering situation. Does that make sense? So I think I'll wrap it up here for now, as a generalization of how I approached trauma work, how I integrated myself, without trying to use mind trick modalities and programs. It's just you have to understand yourself, and you have to give yourself acceptance.